For as long as I could remember, I've always loved to tell stories. Even when I was younger, in class I would always try to finish my assignments as quickly as I could so that I could have enough free time in the day to take out my notebook and start writing the stories that were bouncing around in my head all day. And as I got older, I wanted to take my stories and turn them into video games, since video games is what started me down my creative path as a kid when I decided that I wanted to be a game designer. And now, instead of having a career in gaming, I decided to make a change, and I'm now a part of the animation community. And just like I made the change from video games to animation, it's now time for me to make another one. For the past few years, I've been focusing on developing my animation skills so that I could one day start making my own animated short films and eventually take on the monumental task of starting my own indie animated series, like so many other great creators here on YouTube. And while I still have every intention of making those dreams come true, recently I've realized that I've been focusing on developing the wrong skills for the goals that I want to achieve. I love 2D animation, and at the same time, 2D animation takes a lot of time and work to get really good at. And if you don't have a real deep passion to do it, then majority of the time, many artists will eventually move on to something new. And while I do love seeing when an animation finally comes to life, I've come to the realization that if I eventually want to start and run my own animation studio and be the head over my own animated series, and someday be able to have the opportunity to expand and be able to bring other creators' ideas to life through 2D animation, my role in those projects wouldn't be as another animator, but instead I would take on the role of an animation director. Because building an idea from the ground up, coming up with storylines, characters, settings, and scripts is where my real strengths actually are, because I've been doing that ever since I was a kid. And now it's time to take the skills I've been developing all my life and shift my focus to be the best animation director I can be. Funnily enough, over the years, I've never really thought too much about the pre-production side of the animation pipeline, and I would usually come up with a loose animation concept, make a few sketches, then jump straight into animation, and try to figure out how I wanted the end result to look as I went along, which is a fantastically inefficient way to handle a project, especially for something that you have to invest so much time into, like animation. But now I see that defining the vision and story during the pre-production stage is so critical to the success of a project, and is actually what I'm good at, and it's the process that I honestly enjoy doing the most, which in hindsight is a pretty obvious statement, and it actually surprises me that I didn't start off really focusing in on the planning part of my artistic projects, since in almost every other part of my life I typically have a plan and system in place to be as efficient and productive as possible. But I believe that when it came to my art, that was the one thing where I could be free to do things however I wanted. And the thought of slowing down that burst of creative freedom to me felt like it would take the fun out of the entire experience. But now I see that I actually have more fun and a lot less frustration once I actually take the time to figure out exactly what it is I'm creating and how I want the end result to look like. I've never really struggled when it came to drawing out thumbnail sketches and storyboard panels for any of my recent projects, and designing characters has always been one of my favorite things to do. Even when I was in high school and I would take already existing characters, whether it be from anime or comics, and I would redesign them into something new or coming up with different character concepts to go along with the stories I would come up with. And even now, I'm starting to enjoy creating and designing original environments for my stories and characters. All of these different aspects of the pre-production process are some of the most rewarding times to be an artist for me. From writing the script and designing the characters and the environments to actually storyboarding out the entire project, deciding what is and isn't important to the narrative, and refining the vision of the animation, thinking about cinematography, lighting, and composition, is why moving forward, my main focus is going to be developing my storyboarding and directing skills so that when the time comes and I'm ready to launch my animation studio and bring on the talented animators out there who have that deep love and passion for 2D animation but are struggling to find work, the opportunity to do what they love and be able to make a living off of it. When I first started this channel, the goal was always to become a place where great stories could be told, creative people could meet and connect with other creators to support and work work with one another in order to not only help one another be able to make a living working in the career that we love, but also to keep the heart of creativity thriving, because as we've seen countless times over the years, the true passion and love put into each and every indie animated project just goes to show that the future growth and change needed for the animation industry to thrive is found in the people who've decided to take their dreams in their own hands and actually set out and take the risk to make their ideas a reality. And I strive every day to be that example for someone else, even if it's just to inspire one person to chase after their dreams. That will make all of this worth it in the end. So if you're looking to join the indie community and meet other creative people, then I would recommend joining the public indie Discord server. The link will be down in the description below. And I want to thank everyone who stayed until the end of the video, as well as all of you who continue to show your support for this channel and the projects that I've been developing here. And I want to let you know that it really is a big motivator for me to make each and every project as great as it can be for you all to enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.